Hey guys, well it is time for another Out of Breath Arms Sore Packer Minute, the show where I walk around the neighborhood talking about the Packers and you watch to see if I get carried away by a Talon. And the skies are clear. I've actually gotten rained on while the sun's been out today, which was an interesting experience and actually quite fun and refreshing. Enjoyed that a little bit. We've been talking about draft picks down the list one at a time. It's been an interesting conversation. Hi. I'm walking by. It's not often your neighbor goes by shooting a video, so it's say hi. Everybody says hi. All right. Have a good day. Nice folks. So yeah, it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful draft we're talking about. Hopefully a lot of good things are going to come about because of it. Remains to be seen, and training camp is coming up. It's coming so quick, guys. Once training camp begins, it's all going to happen really fast. September 10th will be here in no time. But now, the focus kind of turns to how the draft prospects are panning out, and that's why we're doing this series. So we've talked about everybody down the line, and yesterday I talked about Vince Beagle, the Packers' first fourth-round draft pick. And today we are on to Jamaal Williams, who was picked also in the fourth round, but pick number 28, 29, whatever it was, pick number 134 overall, running back, BYU running back Jamaal Williams. And, this was that pick that, not knowing what was going to happen in the rest of the draft, we were very glad that the Packers drafted a running back. And I think the fact that Kristen Michael didn't work out, Don Jackson was already gone, Ty Montgomery, I think most of us believed in, I believe in, and he and McCarthy, of course, does because he named him the starter. But then when the draft came around and day 4 came around, we were able to pick up Jamaal Williams. I think there was a little bit of relief and a lot of positivity toward this pick. Little did we know we'd go ahead and draft 2 more of these guys before all was said and done. Each of these guys, career leaders for their teams. Jamaal Williams with a few knocks on his record in terms of getting in a little bit of trouble with the law, some code violations, and I think one was a DUI or something along that line. But Jamaal Williams, upright runner, he's been compared by Daniel Jeremiah to James Starks, which would make some people cringe and others applaud, perhaps. Remember, James Starks was extremely important in the Packers' 2010 Super Bowl run, but his upright style of running, and I do have to agree, his upright style of running does remind me of James Starks. We'll see how that all turns out. In some of the clips and highlights that I saw, was a little concerned with his pad level. The other knock on him, generally speaking, and I'm not so sure I agree with it, but he's not a very elusive guy. He's a 4.59 40 kind of a guy. He doesn't have breakaway speed, doesn't have great speed. He doesn't have really quick feet. And he's been kind of knocked as, not having any moves, not being nifty enough to be a starter in the league, and kind of he's only being made out to be sort of a second role-playing running back for teams around the league. Now, I don't know that I agree with that, to be quite honest. I've seen him put his foot down and make nice cut. He is not a 2-foot cutter. That doesn't mean he can't cut. In fact, Ty Montgomery is not a 2-foot cutter. The Packers in general like these guys that put their foot down and are decisive. And that is what you're getting in Jamaal Williams. He does run a little high, but this is a guy that is a bruiser. He can take impact. He can hand it out, which is exactly kind of what we need if, Ty Montgomery is kind of the do-it-all back. He can catch out of the backfield. He can run up the A-gap. He can beat you to the edge. He can do it all. And that's part of the reason Ty Montgomery was named the starter immediately after the season. The coaching staff understood what they had in this guy and wanted to make sure and solidify him so that he knew exactly what he was going to be working on, where he was going to be during the offseason, and what his focus would be. He's the starting running back. But in the Packers system, the term starter really doesn't mean that much. We interchange these guys. We'll throw in a different running back on each series. McCarthy likes to keep the running backs fresh, and to do that, he will put in number 2s and, guys like James Starks that would play a full series or a series and a half before Eddie Lacy would come back in. Personally, I'm not sure that's the way I like it best to be run. I've said in the past, I'm kind of one of those guys that, especially when we had Eddie Lacy and now that we have Ty Montgomery, when a running back gets hot, just ride that horse. That's been sort of my motto. McCarthy doesn't quite see it that way, likes to keep those guys fresh, and I think for the long term, that may be a better way to approach it, just in terms of you've got more than 16 games when you're a Green Bay Packer. It's a long season. Jamaal Williams then being a rookie, it's also going to be a lot of wear and tear on him that he is not used to. And this is a guy that does have an injury history. I think it was his sophomore year that was basically ruined by injury. So we'll see what happens with that if he can stay healthy. But if he can, I mean, this could be a guy that comes on. And again, this is a 4th round pick. So expectations aren't incredibly high. You know, same thing with the succession of running backs we got afterwards. But if this is a guy who can really sort of pound the rock in December at Lambeau Field, he's going to be a really valuable addition to this Packers offense. And if he can take some tread off of, not take some tread off, but if he can make sure that Ty Montgomery does not have to take quite as much tread off his tires during the season, I think it's going to pay dividends. And frankly, I think this is a kid that could come on. There goes the gas truck. I think this is a kid that could come on and be a very good player for us. So we'll see. Of course, that assumes that he is the number 2, and there's no guarantee of that. We've got Aaron Jones, Devontae Mays. Both of these guys are going to compete. This is, I think, it's one of the reasons I'm very excited for training camp this year. And that, for example, that running back competition, that's one of the competitions I, for one, will have my eye on. Really want to see, and I'm interested to see which running back takes the helm in terms of being the second back to Ty Montgomery, because whoever the second back is, we can expect from past history, we can expect them to get quite a few reps during the season. One of the beauties of, you know, having this competition at the running back position is if you've got a guy that he's not your third down pass protection, squirting out of the backfield, you don't have to worry too much about that. If you've got a guy that can just pound the rock and you can put him in on 1st and 2nd down, he doesn't have to know quite as much. He doesn't quite have to understand the offense as fully and have everything down just yet. You can kind of get him out there a little earlier that way as he's still learning the offense. So that's the thing. Jamaal Williams, you know, this guy, you know, we do need a complement to Ty Montgomery. We kind of have that in Aaron Ripkowski. So I don't think it's a critical thing that one of these guys has to be a superstar right off the bat. But wouldn't it be better if one of them was? I'd like to see 2 tailbacks that we can employ any time we need to, frankly, even on passing downs. And Jamaal Williams is one of those guys that did add some catches out of the backfield. You know, none of them were major threats out of the backfield, but if he can catch, then he can get sent out. He can also be kept in to pass protect. If we can do that, I think we'll have something in this kid or one of the other guys. Of course, we'll be talking about all of them in future episodes. So that'll do it for today. Jamaal Williams, kind of an exciting prospect, you know, and depending on how you see the James Starks reference, remember, I mean, he could be a nice addition because that's exactly what James Starks was at the time. And then, of course, we had this year roll around where he was not as effective, I didn't think. But Jamaal Williams, member of the Green Bay Packers, he's going to be out there in just a few days rocking out with the training camp crew when the boys head over to St. Norbert's and start Packer training camp. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like the video, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down there. I'm enjoying doing them. Love the comments, appreciate the interaction, and we'll talk to you again soon. Until then, go Pack.